are live.
Hey, welcome to On Location. My name is Todd Sullivan. Behind the camera is Kelsey Bell, and we are right now at the Pavilion Theatre in Kamloops, about to chat with some people from the Kamloops Players. Oh my God, you're spinning the camera already. We got people on the phone lines here desperately calling people to say, hey, come see this show. And then we're going to meet with these people over here. And, oh my God, now I'm over here now.
Whoa.
Crazy.
How is that possible? Are you a time traveler?
No, I just walked across the floor. Hey guys.
Hey.
Hello. Let's just go down and introduce ourselves here. We've got.
Hi, I'm Dan Ondang. I directed The Murder of Arthur Wong and also wrote it and also wrote some of Alan's 9 Murders.
Hello, my name is Marta Oraniewicz. I do a lot of things with the Kamloops Players. I'm the communications person sometimes, I guess. Also, I'm in his show.
The Murder of Arthur Wong.
The Murder of Arthur Wong, yes.
Because they're both kind of partly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My name's Keenan Carey, and I'm playing Virgil in The Murder of Arthur Wong. I don't do anything else because being that awful of a person is too much for me.
Wow, that got dark. But we're awful people too, so don't worry.
Only Virgil.
Yeah.
Wait till you see the show.
Okay.
You'll be like, oh, this guy's bad.
So obviously, you may not want to give away too much, but it does feel like just that introduction has maybe prompted room for conversation about what these plays are about. They both seem to have the word murder in them. That seems objectively true.
Why so dark?
Because it's called Fall Into Drama with the Kamloops Players, so you got to drama it up a little bit. Also, because audiences like when you tell them there's going to be murder, and then they don't know that there isn't any until they have tickets already. They have to see the shows to find out that
There's no murder?
There's not any, you won't see any murders if that's what you're worried about. Yeah.
I mean, I can go either way. I mean, I do appreciate seeing a murder, but sometimes it's fun when they happen sort of like between the scenes.
Yeah. Most of these murders are kind of read between the lines type murders.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. No, blood pooling out from under the door on stage or anything like that.
None of that specifically.
Oh, I love that answer. Love that answer.
Do you think murder can be funny? Is it supposed to be funny or sad or what's this?
So I can tell you, The Murder of Arthur Wong, I think it ends on a funny murder. I think there's the funny murder, like I said, you won't see it, but when you read the title, you'll be like, oh, that's a funny murder.
And which one was this one? This
is The Murder of Arthur Wong.
The Murder of Arthur Wong.
Short show at the start.
Okay. So can any of you, I guess, give a brief synopsis of both of these shows?
So there are 2 shows, as we've figured out by now. The first one is The Murder of Arthur Wong. It's very short. It's like 15 minutes, at most 20. I'd be surprised if it was 20 minutes. And it's the dystopian universe where you have to apply to the government to die.
Whoa.
Yes.
What a cool thing.
Paperwork has to be filed, everything has to be in order, stamped and approved, otherwise death is just unfortunately a bit impossible. We're a big fan of the dark comedy with these productions.
I can tell.
Yeah.
Yes. And then there is no intermission because it's only, 15 minutes. And so the second show starts, which is called Alan's 9 Murders. There is an intermission, don't worry, it'll be in the middle of that show because that's like a feature length, full length play. And in that one, we have Alan, of course, the title character. He's a telemarketer who deals with a crisis of conscience and decides to do cold calls for the suicide hotline.
Oh my God, I hate cold calling.
So he's calling people up and saying, are you thinking of killing yourself and would you like to talk about it?
Precisely.
Interesting.
It's a contrast to his day job of calling people up to be like, hey, do you want to change cable providers?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what you're saying, he's someone who likes what he does during the daytime, kind of, and wants to continue doing it at night, just in a different kind of direction.
with a different moral implication, perhaps.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's I feel like that's implied, that there would be a different moral implication with...
I'm sure the cast of the other show would love to talk to you about the philosophy of that.
But they're not here right now, are they? Okay, so let's just focus on the murder of Arthur Wong, which I've now discovered the easy way to tell the difference between which is the short one, which is the long one. Obviously, the long one is the one that has 9 murders as opposed to just 1 in the title. So,
Good.
yeah. So, tell us about it. How long have you been working on this?
We've been in rehearsal maybe 2-3 months, maybe 3 months.
3 months, yeah.
3 months. This guy wrote the thing.
Yeah.
This guy.
This guy over here wrote the thing.
Yeah.
So he's got more insight, I guess, on the play itself. Keenan and I play in it, and then there's one more person. So it's just 3 people in the show.
Did you have a lot of people that were interested in the roles, or did you have was it easy or a difficult time?
We had auditions for this, for both these shows together, and we had lots of great people come out.
Yeah.
So it was nice to get to be so choosy, and nice that myself and the other director kind of had to get together and have a meeting of the minds so that we don't cast someone in both, because it would be way too much work for that person. And we both were able to work out casts that we're very happy with, because so many people came out.
Right. Do you ever have actors that are willing to do any part, or are they in there specifically for one part?
At these auditions, we had, I think, mostly actors that were like, "Oh yeah, pretty much put me wherever."
Yeah.
A couple of people that are like, "Well, I've sort of fit this role from the roles you've posted. This is kind of the one that suits me best." And we generally were like, "Yeah, yeah, you're right."
So you've been working on this play for a while, I believe. Like, I think there have been like table reads and stuff of it in the past and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I wrote this circa 2016 or 2017 to be the second half of 2 one-acts at Hydra Festival, oddly enough, so long ago.
Okay.
And yeah, I sort of put it on for that festival and then just let it...
Sorry.
Put it on for the festival and just kind of let the script sit for a little while. I was like, we're happy with the show we did of it, and then this opportunity to do Fall Into Drama with the Kamloops Players came up, and I was like, oh yeah, I know 1.5 dramas.
Perfect. And now for you guys, were you familiar with the show from any of its sort of previous appearances, or were you coming into it kind of blind?
I was familiar with the other show, with
Okay.
Alan's 9 Murders. I saw it when we did it up at TRU a couple years ago, many years ago.
The old theater club.
The old theater club at TRU, yeah. So I've seen the other production before. It's very interesting to see it with a different cast. Yeah. And you,
Yeah,
Keenan?
no, for me this is all brand new. I mean, I've lived in various places around BC and overseas, and wherever I've lived, I've always done like amateur dramatics.
Nice.
So this was the first time I've seen Murder of Arthur Wong, but you know, upon seeing the script, I feel like there's something lovely about like a jester's privilege, about being able to say more through comedy, to be able to kind of. Because if someone walks up to you immediately and immediately says, "Hello, I want to delve deeply into the nature of death and choice and where these things line up in our society, and also the weight of moral implications," and wait, no, don't go. I really want to. But if you get people laughing first, then
They'll
you're,
listen.
Exactly, you're able to like get into these things. And so like when I was reading it, I was like, "Oh my God, this is hilarious," but also. I don't think you'd be able to get away with a lot of this otherwise. So it was good job there, Dan.
Yeah.
I guess to continue with you, since this is your first experience with this role or
Yeah.
with this show.
and the Kamloops Players itself, yeah.
For sure. And it sounds like it is kind of a darker role. Mm-hmm. Was there anything that you felt challenged to kind of connect with in the character?
What
I love these laughs because I feel like there's an answer here.
There's
not
meaning
one
behind
where
it.
They want to spoil.
Exactly.
I feel like Dan was trying to acclimatize me. It's a little bit boiling a frog. We started the show and he was saying, come on in. This is Virgil. You're fulfilling your function. And then a little bit later he was saying, so anyways, there's perhaps more reasons behind what you're doing. And then perhaps you can be ever so slightly slimier in that line. And then bit by bit he made me into a kind of hunched over wretch that is just horrible in every aspect. I feel like I might have perhaps ran away very fast if he had brought that out at the beginning, but by the end of it, no, I can just naturally slide into the role of this slime bag.
Well, that's interesting to hear about that kind of approach. The whole boiling frogs thing works. Is the takeaway, I guess.
Yeah, it helped me kind of gag down the character, but no, it's lovely. I don't know why I tend to be cast as these wretches. The last big play I was in, I was actually performing in it with the person who had become my wife, and the two of us were in a British comedy where the two of us were playing a married couple, and my character was attempting to sleep with her character's sister-in-law. Led to some interesting conversations. I don't know why people cast me in these kinds of roles, but I'm just happy to be involved.
For sure. And maybe one day you'll uncover the reason for that. I don't know. Not saying there is one.
Yes, you
Such
are.
a sweetheart in real life. People are like, yeah, we can flip that.
See, what was that about Jester's privilege? You wouldn't have been able to say that if it weren't a joke.
Like I'm just saying, you didn't need to provide that additional piece of information to the interview. So kudos to you for your openness, Marta. Because this is a play that you have some familiarity with it.
Well, I don't. Not this one. I saw the other show.
Oh, the other one.
Yes,
Okay,
I saw the other show.
Never
My
mind.
familiarity with it, I guess now, is 3 months of rehearsal, so
Yeah.
I should
Oh
be
my-
familiar with it by now, I suppose.
Never mind. No, I thought this was one that you had seen, so my question is now irrelevant. Kelsey, it's your turn.
Okay. Well, so far, what has been like the highlight of the last few months, and what has been like the low light? Oh. I want to hear it all. I want to hear the highs and the lows. Yeah. No? Or you?
I'll talk.
You,
Yeah,
you
okay.
don't have to do anything.
Sure, I'll talk.
Yeah.
I think least favorite actor in this.
3 of us.
So I think a major highlight for me was seeing the set today.
Oh.
You all saw a little peek of it at the start of the stream here.
Yeah, we can do more.
Oh my God!
As you talk.
It was so
In case you missed it,
impressive, and it's so impressive, so cool to look at. Oh yeah. And call in now to buy your tickets. This set is so cool, and then well, that's a piano, Kelsey. For the other show, that's not even in our half. This set is so cool, and then I was like, oh man, I really can't visualize this set during the rehearsal process, so our whole show takes place at those 2 desks.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So your show is right there.
It's bang on right there, very little happening elsewhere.
Does the other show utilize that as well as everything else?
Yes. Yeah, the other show uses the whole thing.
Or? Okay, interesting.
So
So they're both in kind of like an office setting.
Yeah. Yeah, they.
Okay, good.
Yeah, they both have an office setting in them. In The Murder of Arthur Wong, it's a bureaucrat's office. It's someone that works for the government in the Department of Mortality. And in Alan's 9 Murders, I can tell you as the writer that it's a sales office. That they're calling you to sell you stuff.
For us, it's where the death happens.
Right.
I did come up with a highlight and a low light. I've been thinking.
Oh, good.
Oh, good.
My low light is that our show is so short. 15 minutes, right? So, we're in rehearsal for 2 or 3 months, and I'm sitting there thinking, we're doing a lot of work with with like our backstories, our relationships, and with our characters, but the audience only sees, 12 minutes, 15 minutes of that kind of thing. So I do leave every rehearsal thinking, oh man, why didn't the playwright make it longer?
Give me more lines.
Yeah, give me more lines, come on. But my highlight, reverse of that, is working with my director and playwright. I think that's really unique because a lot of the time you get a script, the playwright is nowhere near where you are. Maybe they're long gone, right? And I'm always kind of curious, why did the playwright write it that way? What did they mean? Did they have a vision that's different from the director? And in my case, it's the same person, which is very interesting to me. I tend to bombard Dan with a lot of questions, being like, why'd you do this?
And I'm like, because there's got to be a line there.
So
You got to make times you can get changed.
My follow-up question was whether or not any of those answers you get from the writer are disappointing. Like, why did you write that? And he just goes, I don't know. It seemed like a good idea at the time.
I will say that he's quite funny because I'll be like, explain this line to me, and he'll just kind of say, well, you can forget about what the playwright said. Listen to me now.
Screw that guy.
I think probably if I had to guess at the most disappointing one, I think you asked me, why does the line say, see you in 6 months, and then 7 months pass? And I said, because you don't want him to say 6 again on stage. I want him to say 7. It sounds better with it being 7 the second time. I don't know what to tell you. It's just like, the actor saying 6, the actor saying 7, and I'm like,
Oh, yeah. That really catches people off guard. Whoa.
7 is a better word.
yeah.
Not necessarily a better number, but it's a better word.
Oh, it's a word? Yeah, I guess
Yeah,
it's a
you
word.
can spell
It's still a word, but it's also a
S-E-V-E-N,
number.
yeah.
Numbers and words are the same thing. Numbers can be words. Okay, don't let me talk anymore.
No, I'm fascinated.
Fascinating
No.
and complex world we live in.
I should have stayed home.
Okay.
Numbers, can they be words?
With the
They can. It's interesting. Numbers are words.
they are. You're right. With the shorter length of the play, do you find it as performers? Is it hard to sort of get into the character when there's like a limited number of pages for you to kind of suss out who these people are, or is it even difficult for you to feel like you're properly portraying who these people are with, again, so few pages in which to embody the character?
I don't think so. I think that when it came to the rehearsal up until this point, Dan would begin most rehearsals by asking us a couple of questions about the characters. Why do you think they're doing X? Why is this happening? What's going on there? And there would be discussion and working through these things in order to figure them out. And with months of practice, you're able to really sink into who someone is and try to convey them properly. I mean, just because you don't interact with someone for a particularly long time doesn't mean they're not a complex person. So,
True.
Getting to do it for a short period of time, they're still going to be there, whether or not you're there for long.
There was something that you said to me one day, if you remember what that was. It was a similar question that I was kind of like, oh, it's so short. Like, we're doing a lot of things behind the scenes, a lot of backstories that it's not, written in the script. But you said something along the lines that the audience will get it, that we're doing a lot of work for the audience to be able to read the subtext and read our characterization a little bit. So even though it's so short, they should feel like they've also known the characters for 2 to 3 months. That's the hope, I think, right?
Exactly.
That we do a good enough job to get that through.
And Dan, as a writer or director, do you have a preference for either shorter plays or longer plays?
I usually actually have a preference for longer plays, but something I noticed directing this short play is because it's short, there's nothing that's unimportant. It's all, we have one scene, you have 2 scenes, right, Marta? And even those 2 scenes, you really see an arc and fall of the character. Yeah. And you're on stage for all of 5 minutes.
Less.
Yeah.
Wow, it's chaotic.
Yeah, it's a little bit of chaos, and it's a little bit of like deep emotional stuff that it's hard for the audience to not project an arc onto that character because of what happens to her.
Yeah, I mean, it's similar to like a short story versus a novel. Like a novel can have many things going on within it, a lot of different themes that you're playing around with, but when you're reading a short story, you're often seeing an author saying, this idea, this emotion, they're like strangling you with it. It's inescapable. It is everything, and sometimes the impact can be stronger for its brevity. Like, yeah.
Man. Oh, I thought for some reason improv had some sort of impact on why you enjoy having like a shorter play, because you do like improv, right?
Yeah.
So I figured that would be
Well, I mean,
part of your
as
answer.
an actor, yes. As an actor, I like not having a lot of lines to memorize, which is really, really nailed on the head by improv. And I'm glad to give y'all not a lot of lines to memorize. Sorry, Hannah.
Do you encourage improv on your plays?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It was something that I told these two was the way I see it, all of your acting should be improv. It's just that you're trying to improv the same thing every night. That way, what the character is feeling will always be coming into existence in front of the audience, instead of being something that you like had in your pocket to plop out for them.
You also said, I have a little bit of a monologue in right now and in the show.
All the time.
And I was kind of like, oh, I could do it this way, I could do it that way. I don't know. Dan, you're the director. What do you think? And you told me, you know what? There's not a cue that you rely on. Like, what you say doesn't matter with like the lights or the sound. There's not a cue after yours. Do what you feel is right that night, right? Because every show is different, and that's the beauty of theater, that it's not film, and it's not not scripted, but it is.
Yeah.
So buy a ticket for every night. But no, there's something lovely a director once told me when I was in a different production, that they said that humans are almost psychic. We can always tell when something's going on. Like you walk in when you're a kid, you walk into your house and you haven't even seen your mom, but you go, oh, something's going on. But like if you're in an audience and you see the actors on stage and there's like they just had a big fight backstage, but they're doing their lines exactly how they always have, you'll know.
There'll be a vibe, yeah.
Exactly. And if you're having fun and you are engaged in the emotions that your characters are going through are coming from a genuine place, then everyone's going to know as well. So I feel like Dan's done a lot of encouraging that genuine kind of acting in what we're doing.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I do think that, yeah, definitely one of the cool things, potentially, about theater is the way that every performance is unique and kind of almost like an organic thing that exists between the actors and the audience, right? That quite often they'll be actors respond to the energy that the audience has or doesn't have, and vice versa. And you can get, two people who've seen a same show on two different nights can have two very different experiences. Do you guys have any thoughts on how to, whether that's a good thing, whether that's a bad thing, whether you'd like to see it like more similar across all performances? Like, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I think that's part of the beauty of theater is that it's there's the relationship between the audience and the actors and what's going on backstage, and it's you're there in the room, the people are there, they are experiencing something with you, and so I think that if we just draped a massive screen in front of the audience and then put on the projector and did our rehearsal in front of them, it would be awful. I mean, the point of it is to have a person in the room with you who's like, while we're acting, we're also experiencing it.
Yeah.
Like Dan's encouraging the emotions to be genuine. There's something there between us all. So having that variation, I think, is just part of the beauty.
Have any of you guys been in film, and what what do you think of the two? I know they're so different from each other. I mean, acting is acting, but they are so different. What are your thoughts on film versus theater?
Is this you guys or is this me?
Oh, I know Dan's been in a movie.
I've been in film. Film acting is so cool because the actor's job is almost like it's all the same skills, but the job is almost entirely different. What you're doing in film is you're setting up the editor for success, ideally, right?
I look at you.
Yeah, right.
And in theater, you're up there as the actor, and you're doing it straight for the crowd. What the energy inside you will be the energy that they see.
Yeah.
And contrary to that, as a director, oh my God, I hate theater.
Really?
Yeah. So like I love it because it's different every night. But as a director, it fills me with so much more anxiety because you can't fix it later. The actor is going to get up there, and if they don't say all their lines, or they start doing a different show, or they just go.
Well, that's when you throw tomatoes at people.
Yeah, right? But as director, there's nothing I can do. I just got to talk to everybody in the lobby after and be like, so, do you like the show?
They made some unique choices tonight. I'm not sure I agree with all of them, but you know.
It is also different with a black box like this. Like, the audience is really right here.
Yeah.
Right? So there's those kind of technical things where if you're in the Sagebrush Theater or whatever, giant theater, you're really acting and you're going a little bit over the top depending on the show. But for something like this, you know, I'm sitting over there on stage, a person is sitting right here, maybe, 10 feet away from me?
Yeah.
They can see everything that I'm doing. And that's kind of frightening, but
For sure, yeah.
exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, this to be honest, this is sort of this is the kind of theater I prefer. The more intimate between the performance and the audience is always more interesting to me.
Can you enlighten me? I'm not sure what you mean. Is it because, like, this isn't, like, a stage?
Yeah, there's not as much of a disconnect between where the performances are happening and where the audience is.
Like, Sagebrush Theater is, like...
Yeah,
way
it does
more-
have a very big, it does have a big stage.
Oh, okay,
But
yeah.
then also, it's also a much larger venue, so like the seats go up quite a bit more, and there's a greater percentage of the audience that is, I think to some extent, disconnected from the show just by virtue of being so far away from it.
And you
Yes.
say you prefer this type of
Absolutely.
theater.
The first play I directed personally, which is not what we're here to talk about, but like the stage in Williams Lake. Well, you've been to Williams Lake at the theater there, and like the stage
Yeah.
literally is like here compared to the audience,
Yeah.
and you can get a kind of just a kind of intimacy from that you can't get in any other medium, I think.
Right.
Yeah, whenever I'm in the smaller theater like this and I'm in the audience, I always get those intrusive thoughts when the show is going on. I'm like, I could just stand up and join them right now.
You could, right? You could.
I'm like, that's how I know a show is really good. If I'm sitting in the audience and I'm actually like focusing on the story, but if I'm sitting there thinking, what if I just stood up right now and I went on the stage too? Like
I could improve this show if I went and participated.
It's always great to hear your co-star say, every now and then I thought, I could just ruin this. I could just take this entire production.
I think it sounds like it's coming from a place of wanting to improve it, not ruin it, right? I'm not enjoying the show. What it needs is more me, a random person from the audience.
Having a script.
I'm saying it connects me more to the to the show, right?
I respect
that it's happening right there in front of me, and I tend to forget that, right? But
Right.
sometimes I'll remember and go, "Oh, hang on, these are people right in front of me doing a show.
Real people.
Real people. There isn't a screen here."
With hopes and dreams. They were mostly hoping that this show will go on uninterrupted by a random person from the audience. Yes, real people.
I could give them a memory right now.
So we're at 29 minutes.
Okay, so it's
Okay.
about time to change up our people. So,
Goodbye.
no,
See ya.
before the abrupt goodbye, any last words before you go?
Thanks so much for coming and having us on. Come see the show on the 27th through the 1st
Yeah, where can they get tickets?
at Kamloops Live. It's kamloopslive.ca or Kamloops Live box office in person if you like.
How much?
How many monies?
I don't know.
Tickets start at $20 plus the fees and all that. They end up being about $25, and then there's different prices from there, but
Pretty different night out.
yeah, the seniors students rate is $25, including all of those fees, and then a regular adult ticket is $30,
And
more or
that'll be
less.
2 shows.
And it's 2 shows for the price of one.
Price of one.
Pretty good.
One is really short, but don't think about that. It's still
Don't
2
worry,
shows.
it's very good.
It's very good.
Yeah.
It's short, but it's excellent.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Todd hasn't seen it.
I haven't seen it. I just trust these guys.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
Highly talented.
Okay. There we go. Now it's goodbye.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
See you.
Thank you. Go for it. And now we've got a new group of people coming. Just passing the microphone on.
Yeah, who wants to be? Yeah, there you go.
I guess.
Prince.
Prince.
Okay, yay! You want me in the middle, don't you? Oh,
you in the middle.
before
I don't
we
know
do
who
that,
you
we
want.
must take a look at
You got to show the phone panel again.
yeah, our telethon here. There, how many tickets have you sold now? How many? 4?
Many.
Oh gosh.
We hear that there are at least enough tickets to fill the house on one night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is amazing. But also, they need more.
Lots.
For just $30 a day. No, $30 one time.
A day
You
for-
can support these theater people and help them continue to create theater. Hey guys, let's introduce ourselves down the line here.
I'm Zach Fernstrom. I'm directing Alan's Nine Murders.
Sweet.
I'm Laurel Brewer. I play Greg in Alan's Night Murders.
Okay.
My name is Hannah Allen, and I play Alan in
Excellent.
Alan's Nine Murders.
All right. So, tell us about the show.
Sure, I guess I know
No
about
pressure.
it. Yeah.
And go.
It's about Alan, who works at a call center and then gets it in their head that they're annoying all these people and think they're committing atrocities, so they try to make up for it by doing good and volunteering at the suicide hotline.
Okay.
And it's funny. Suicide isn't funny.
No,
But
but the show is funny.
Okay.
yeah.
I think it's funny. Laurel laughs all the time in rehearsal, so.
It's dark humor, but I'm twisted anyway.
Okay. Laurel and sorry, I forgot your name.
Hannah.
Hannah. Do you guys have any thoughts on the show? Describe what it.
Highlights and the lights.
Yeah.
Highlights and lowlights. Do you want to start?
Do you want to maybe pass the mic or like get it closer to the people speaking?
How's casting? How was the casting process? How did that go?
It's pretty much the same as what Dan said. We sat in on the auditions together and saw lots of great people. It was some really hard choices to make and some very easy choices to make based on who we saw. Yeah, it was great. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Couldn't have asked for more.
Nice.
What is your background with theater and with directing? Is this the first time you've directed, or do you have a long history with it, or?
I've directed at TRU before. Okay. That's where I got started in theaters through their theater program. And then since then, I've done theater all over with all sorts of companies, Chimera Theater, Project X, Independent, at the Hydra Festival, all the time.
Do you prefer to be behind the scenes, or do you like to be on stage, main character guy?
So my biggest issue is when I do one thing, I want to do the other. If I'm directing, I want to be acting and stage managing.
Isn't that funny?
If I'm stage managing, I want to do the other two, and, so it's...
Is it because while you're busy doing one particular job, you're looking at the other job and thinking, that looks way more fun than what I'm doing right now?
Yeah, for sure, that's why.
Yeah.
So you've like the grass is always greener kind of syndrome.
Yeah, more like I have oldest child syndrome and want to do everything myself always.
Nice.
God, is that why I want to do everything by myself always?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
But
I've just learned something about myself.
But yeah, so that's great that you're the director, because that is the guy that does everything, right?
Almost. There's lots
Kind
of
of.
things I don't do or I start to do, and then Jay, our stage manager, tells me to knock it off because it's his job. Lovingly.
Yeah, I understand that pain. Like, I want to play on all sides of the camera and the creative process. I started off as, no one's asking me this, but I'm just telling you anyway. I started off as a makeup artist, and I felt like I was lying to myself because I wanted to do that, and I wanted to do that, and I wanted to do set design and all that. So yeah, I totally understand what you're saying about, when you do this, you want to do that too. It's hard to stay in your lane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, as far as the actors go, do either of you, or are either of you like, I wish I wasn't acting right now, I wish I was doing this other job?
No, not so much.
Yeah.
I think that's my favorite, is being an actor. I've done a little bit of directing when I was at TRU, at the TRU Theatre, but I prefer acting, and it's nice to work with Zach, because Zach and I have very similar background, because we both went to TRU Actors Workshop Theatre, so it's kind of like being back there in a way. There's some similar approaches coming through, and
Same language.
That's been an interesting, similar language. So it's been fun to do that.
Was there anything in particular with either of you that drew you to participating in this show in particular?
For me, I actually saw the show when it was first done at TRU, so I had a little bit of familiarity with it, but I didn't super remember the plot, like it was quite a few years ago, but I do remember really enjoying it and just like laughing lots, and I thought it would be exciting to audition and see if I could potentially be in the show or potentially be in the other show. I was definitely open to any part. So yeah, it was very exciting to end up being cast as Alan.
How about you, Laurel?
I had taken a 3-year hiatus from 21 there, and so I got back into acting and with the players in the spring play, and I just saw this and I thought, well, I'll give it a shot, see what happens, and I got a role.
What do you know?
Darn it, hey?
That's how it happens.
Yeah.
Were you excited?
Yeah. Oh, yes. Absolutely.
I hope so.
Yeah, I was. I wasn't super familiar with the character that I got, but
Yeah, you had no description, pretty much.
no, I had no description whatsoever. And then I learned that, I want to commit suicide, do I? Oh, okay.
Was that a difficult mindset to find yourself in when you were playing that
Unfortunately, no.
character? Oh, okay.
No, I've had problems over the years.
For sure.
Yeah, but I'm better now.
Okay, that's good. We're all glad to hear that. And I apologize for asking that question.
But yeah, sometimes the best thing to do is bring laughter into the hard topics
Totally,
in life. Yeah, winter is a hard time for a lot of people, and I wish we had a suicide hotline ready just because we're on that topic, but it is, it is a very serious thing that happens to many, many people, and even the really super funny, happy people, even.
Oh, 988. 988, there we go. Apparently, if you are thinking about suicide or struggling with suicidal thoughts, dial 988. Or
come here and laugh.
But don't interfere with what's going on stage, even though some people may have been encouraging that kind of behavior. Hannah, I did want to follow up with you because you said you had seen this show before, and this was a question I meant to ask, or I was trying to ask earlier when it was irrelevant. But is it challenging to try to bring something new or something unique to yourself to something that you've already seen and might have, an idea in your head of what it was?
I think in a way, yes, but I feel like I'm lucky, and what's interesting is that I'm actually the first woman to play this character.
Oh, okay.
So I think because of that, there's a lot of differences just because of that. So I don't feel like I am challenged to make it different from previous versions I've seen, but I definitely think it's still a challenge to bring all that I can to the character and make sure the character feels authentic.
Sure.
And it's been interesting to be the first woman playing this character and to see how that kind of has evolved. And then we had a chance to talk to the playwrights as well and to see what they think, because they've done the play with a man being in this role before and never a woman, so it's been interesting to hear like what they thought and how they thought it was different, and how just, you know, having someone of a different gender play the role can really transform it and turn them into someone new, kind of, too.
So further to that then, like between, you know, in these conversations with the director and with the writer, is there any certain element that you can talk about that you feel like you are bringing simply because you're a woman as opposed to a man?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I'd be interested to hear their perspectives as well, but I think maybe a little bit more gentleness, maybe a little bit more sympathetic, potentially.
Interesting.
There is scenes where like other people are yelling at me, and I've heard that like it's different watching like two men yell at each other as opposed to a man yelling at a woman. But all in good fun. It's just a show. Like I'm having fun doing it. So that's some of the things that I've heard. But yeah, I don't know if Zach has anything to add, or yeah, I know you're the director, not the playwright, but you've seen it before and you've been in it before when it's been a male character.
Yeah, so Zach, your thoughts?
Yeah, I've I'll hold it for you. Okay. I acted in this play both other times it was produced. In like 20.
Did you ever play Alan?
No, okay. I played Terry, and then I played Laurel's character once, actually. And as far as the differences go about the Allens, is everything Hannah said, gentler, more sympathy and empathy. And it does really change a lot of the dynamics. As far as the yelling goes, there's this one scene with this other character who is Jill, so a woman, and they have like an argument. And now it's not a woman yelling at a man, so now it's a woman yelling at a woman. So you actually get angrier at Jill than in the previous time I've seen it. Because it's a different power dynamic.
Yeah.
I don't know, and it's hard to remember. It's been so long in a pandemic since the last two times. And frankly, it's like, I don't really care what those were like. We're doing it this way. And some things are very different. Some things are probably the same. And that's okay.
Was that like a conscious, like when you cast Hannah, you know, as obviously a woman in a part that was normally done, you know, previously done by a man, was that part of your desire to cast a woman, was to get that different energy or whatever, or was it just like she was the best available?
Well, her last name's Allen, so I had no choice.
Oh, well, there you go.
Alan.
No, we had a lot of great people audition, but it frankly came down to a couple of people that could handle the role.
Yeah.
And Hannah was the one.
Nice.
Yeah, girl.
There are a lot
true.
of lines.
It is 44 very dense pages, and Hannah says something on most of them.
Yes.
For most of the pages.
That would give me anxiety.
There's no leaving the stage.
Hannah's on stage
Which is interesting.
the entire time.
I've never been in a show where I was in every scene and never like going off stage to change or like letting the other characters come on. Like, so it's been an interesting challenge in that way too, because you're kind of on for the hour, and I guess there's an intermission, but you know, the 40 minutes or whatever, you're really locked in. Even like transitions, I'm still on stage during transitions, and I'm changing my costume on stage. So it's really, really like immersive for me. Of course, all theater is, but I feel like I have to be very aware and very locked in. And what is also interesting is so much of the play is on the phone call.
Oh,
so
okay. So it's a lot of like just you're doing lines and you don't hear the other side?
Well, we hear them, but we're not looking at each other. Like we're in a different spaces.
Okay.
So that's interesting too, because in most of the shows I've been in, like the dialogue is, you know, you're in the same place, you're looking at each other. So when you can't see the other actor, you almost have to be, like I said, even more locked in, because you're just going off of their voice and your relationship is completely over the phone. So that's been an interesting challenge too, and like something that I haven't necessarily got to do in theater before.
Right.
So it's very fun, and there's so many interesting and engaging conversations that the audience is going to get to see. So I'm really excited for them to get to see that.
Nice.
Yeah, most acting, it's visual between the two actors. You are seeing each other, and if you flub a line, then you can see each other and get back on track. This,
Right, yeah.
you have to listen.
Just speak about theater in general. Does any of you want to speak to your favorite things about this as a medium?
Good question.
I'd say getting to share it in the moment with the audience, and if you can see the reaction.
Right.
And so I can see, oh, they're like this, or they hate this, or, and good, as long as they feel something. I don't care what it is. Just not apathy.
Right. You want people to be on an emotional roller coaster with you guys, right? That's right. Yeah.
I don't know if you always want a roller coaster, but
For this one, yes.
for this one, for sure, yeah.
Good. Yeah, I feel like the live, like just what the other group said, like the fact that it's live is so.
Instant energy.
Yeah, the instant energy and like hearing laughter, hearing sighs, even silence, like you're in that relationship with the audience for that in this like dark closed room, and there's nothing really like it, I don't think. So that's one of my favorite things about theater, but it feels really good when people laugh. So even though this play deals with obviously very serious subjects, it does it so in a way that brings lightness, and there's a nice balance of comedy and drama. So please don't be afraid to laugh, even if it's a dark joke. Like that's what we hope for.
Right.
We want
It's a dark play,
Yeah.
but there are jokes as well. So just because
Exactly.
it's a dark subject,
It's called
don't be
black
afraid.
comedy
Yeah,
right
don't be
on the
afraid to
script.
laugh.
Yeah.
You're not a bad person if you laugh.
No,
Yeah.
exactly.
I mean,
Well,
maybe
you might be.
maybe there's
You-
points where you shouldn't laugh
You
too.
could
but,
be
like,
bad.
Don't laugh at every single thing. Maybe
Yeah.
You'll see.
you'll see. You'll see. And then to sort of swing to the opposite, like what is your biggest maybe either fear when you're on stage, or like what is the one sort of faux pas that you maybe did once on stage that you never want to do again, that kind of thing.
Todd was in his underwear once on stage, by the way.
I mooned an audience.
You mooned.
Yeah.
On
By
purpose?
accident?
Yeah, I was in Maucus. I had to. I mooned
I
the
saw
audience.
that.
You saw my ass then.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
I guess you show me after this.
Okay. Oh yeah, I remember now.
Pop Pandora, show everybody.
I think that'll get blocked by the censors.
So anyway, yeah, embarrassing things can happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
That wasn't. That was part of the script.
But were you not embarrassed?
Not by the end of it. No.
Oh.
No, you get pretty used to it after a while. For me, my biggest, it wasn't my mistake actually, but the first play I was in, it was a play where every scene was like 75 years in the future. I was an immortal character, and so was another guy, but like he had to keep coming back pretending it was 75 years later. And every scene, he had a very quick costume change. And so he'd go backstage, and there would be two people like to help him change his costume. And then when he was ready to go back out, they would feed him whatever his first line was for that scene, so he knew where he was, except they gave him the line for the next scene,
Oh, no.
not the one that he was actually walking into. So he walked on expecting me to already be on stage, because I'm supposed to be if that's the scene,
Yeah.
but I wasn't. And so he walks on, and I'm backstage, and he's making eye contact with me backstage, like, why aren't you here? And I'm like, because I'm not supposed to be. And after a couple of minutes of this, and of course, again, this is my first play, so I'm really not comfortable knowing how to help somebody out of this, but I'm like, I don't know what else to do. So I sort of wandered out and started kind of delivering lines that might prompt him to figure out where we are. And eventually he did, and we carried on. But that was sort of one of my most horrifying live theater moments.
Yeah.
You guys can share now.
I don't know if I can top that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really
Well, it's not a
good.
competition, but-
I think, yeah, anytime you feel like you messed up a line or missed a line, like that's the biggest fear. I know for me, it's even more so because I think when you're acting and you make a mistake, probably not very many people notice it, but you notice it.
Yeah.
And then you go off at the end of your scene, and then you can kind of have your, oh, that was too bad moment. But for me, because I don't leave the stage for the whole play, it's like you make a mistake, you gotta keep going. Don't get yourself into a negative mindset. Like, stay in character and just do your best. So
She says that like she makes mistakes.
thank you.
She
I
doesn't.
appreciate that.
She
I
doesn't.
appreciate that.
I guess one thing I could say is things that are out of your control scare me a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true.
You know, we were just talking about this years ago. Me and Hannah did a show at TRU where the fire alarm went off,
Oh, wow.
and we had to finish the show outside.
In the winter.
Shut up.
But you did finish it.
We finished it. We had one scene left.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
It was not super fun in the time, but really cool to
Like a real
look
special
back and
moment.
say
Yeah.
yeah, we did it. The show must go on, like, literally in that sense.
That's pretty cool.
I did a show once called Self-Help, and I was behind a bar. And I put the stopper back in a full decanter, and the decanter broke.
Oh, geez.
And I just had to keep going on as
Yep.
I'm slopping up there. it was the funniest thing that had ever happened to me.
Yeah,
But also scary because it was sharp glass all over the place.
for sure.
And one of my co-actors was across the stage. Her eyes were just big. And I thought, oh, are you okay?
Well, kudos for staying in the moment there and like working.
Oh, it was just, whoa, okay.
I do feel like in those moments when these mistakes happen, whether you forget a line, whether something breaks, it does feel like time changes. Like it feels like you're standing there for like 5 minutes, just going like.
Yeah.
But it's like 3 seconds. Nobody notices really.
The Martians in your brain are like, oh, how do we fix this?
Exactly. It's like your brain is able to slow down time to give you time to process a reaction or something, which is very cool, but it's terrifying for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your question?
What about people who are interested in starting, theater in the future? Do you guys? Oh, why am I? I'm asking the camera. I should be talking to you.
I thought you were talking about yourself. Like,
I don't know. I was just
looking.
looking. I'm not asking you. I'm asking you. Is there like a roster where you guys, similar to what a talent agency would have? Do you guys have a talent? No, you're saying
wish.
no. Okay.
Join
You
the
just-
mailing lists.
Yeah.
Social media.
Social media.
Just
Look
just
up-
audition
look,
when it
look
comes.
for the auditions
Oh, okay. Just
and
wondering.
opportunities, or just email and say, hey, you got any volunteer opportunities?
Oh, like cleaning or like what?
Sometimes.
Depends what it is. I might come.
No, sometimes we need people to help backstage and
Oh, yeah.
volunteer their time.
Yeah.
Costumes, props,
Hair, makeup, props.
Yeah, you probably need seamstresses.
emphasis on the volunteer part.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the hard thing about
the tough
theater.
part.
Is it doesn't pay a whole lot.
Yeah.
But I think the great thing about the things that don't pay a lot and the people still show up, it's because of the love for it, and that is really contagious. I think, like working on a short film, we're spending money and not making money, and we're there because we love it, and we're just in our element. I have no questions.
Okay.
Yeah. What's your favorite color? Oh, you said purple.
That's actually why I wore this
Oh,
tonight, because you were
I
accusing me
thought
of not
so.
wearing
I
purple.
thought so.
Because we talked about that. Yeah.
Nice on you.
You guys don't need to know about
Sorry.
that.
Mine's pink.
It is? Do you have a lot of pink clothing?
I have a fair amount, yeah.
Okay. I was trying to.
Pink,
There is some pink on that. That's
Soft
cool,
pink
actually.
or-
like rose gold.
Nice.
Oh.
Yes.
It goes nicely with your skin tone.
Oh, thank you.
I guess we're asking everybody now what their favorite color is. Laurel?
Green.
Green?
My favorite color is also pink. Pink or purple.
Pink or purple?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Now, color has mood to it. So when it comes to theater,
That's true.
like, why are these things blue? Is it because it's a sad topic?
Well, it looks like an office.
It does. Very stale.
Yeah. pretty much.
It's missing some annoying motivational posters.
Oh, they're coming.
Oh, are they? Excellent. Never mind.
I don't know if we're getting those particularly, but but we are getting some more set deck in the next couple days.
Yeah, it does give like a bland office vibe. Is that what you were hoping for? Did I insult you?
No, that's exactly what we're going
Okay,
for.
yeah, it's so
That's what I'm going to
blah.
say, anyways.
Your set is so blah. Is that what you were going for? Because I hope so.
We're under the fluorescent lights. It's fine.
Exactly. See, maybe it looks different under the stage lights.
Yeah.
It looks, a more dramatically lit. Blah.
The keyboard
The keyboard.
Yes.
is this a musical?
So it's not a musical, but I do have a live pianist throughout Alan's Nine Murders.
Oh, interesting. So are they playing like supporting music, or how does that work?
Yeah, mostly transitions, but some other spots as well.
Okay.
And they're fantastic. Her name is Tanya. She's done a great job. And
Hey, Tanya, great job.
Hi, Tanya.
I don't know if she's watching.
Doesn't matter.
We'll pretend we have a large audience.
Yeah, exactly. We just assume everybody's watching.
And yeah,
Hi,
I'm
Elon Musk.
very excited to have her on board because I almost didn't have a pianist. I had been looking and looking and looking, and I put it on Facebook on like a musician's page, and she was the only one to hit me up. And so I met with her and went, "You're hired.
Nice.
How well can you
She is
play?"
great. Just to
But she
clarify.
is
The
great.
only
Oh,
one,
she is
but
fantastic.
What a winner, yeah.
Yeah. We struck gold.
Yeah. And so, what was the reason for wanting like a live pianist rather than just sort of like a recorded music that you could fill the scene transitions with?
Dan wrote it in the script.
Okay.
Hey, Dan.
All right, Andrew wrote it in the script.
Okay. I guess that's valid.
It's in the script. I could get away without doing it. It's in the stage directions, but you don't have to listen to those.
That's true. So, as a director, I guess what I'm wondering is like, what do you think the presence of a live pianist brings to the performance?
It's cool.
I think it's cool too.
It's cool. It also, though, does allow for interplay in very specific moments between the actors and the pianist and the music in a way a recording can't. Tanya can adjust her tempo and her speed, and those are the same thing.
She has to improvise.
To how some of the actors are talking in time at certain times.
Right. Okay.
Or if Hannah's running really late between.
So she can play a little bit longer.
Stretch
really
it out.
Appreciated that. She was like, "I'm just gonna watch you, and if you need more time, I'll keep playing." And like that's something you don't usually get as an actor. Usually,
That's true.
Like the sound cues.
Exactly.
You do it in the time you have, but that was so kind of her to do. And
Yeah.
like I think you're right. I think it adds another a wonderful element to the drama.
Yeah.
Excellent. And not to say that because it's cool isn't
No.
a valid answer. It's totally valid.
That's awesome.
Like I know as a director, sometimes that's the only reason you have.
Yeah. You don't need to justify everything.
No, exactly.
I want it that way.
I want it that way.
Because I
Because
said
I said
so.
so, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's an answer too.
I don't know if I've ever had to say that to you guys, but
Oh, I love you. Thank you. You're hired. We have 2 minutes left.
We have 2 minutes left. So,
So,
go ahead.
I no. You cut me off. I don't know. You go.
Does-
Oh yes.
Oh, do we?
You don't-
All right. Let's just.
Yeah.
No.
No. Or someone.
You want to leave?
Do I still have to stay?
Bye.
I guess.
You're trying to ditch out before the stream is done. I'm going home. Bye, guys. So let's
Yes.
talk about the Kamloops Players.
The
in general.
Kamloops Players, just in general, we are the oldest community theater in Kamloops. We are 57 years old.
Wow.
Yes, 57 years old, and I just want to emphasize that we're volunteers. Nobody is getting paid to be here. If you buy a ticket, nobody told Laurel. If
That's not our job to do that. Sorry. It's on you.
if you buy a ticket to come see the show, you are supporting us as a society, right? So we're putting on more shows with the money that we get from other shows. And your question about getting involved. So we do 2 shows every year. Sometimes we do a 3rd show, but our season is a spring into comedy. usually in April, and of course the Fall into Drama, in the fall, November, whatever time. So those are the best times to reach out to us to see if we need volunteers, either backstage. Couple months before that is when you want to start looking out for auditions. We currently have auditions up next week.
Tell us about that.
Oh, do you want to talk about this?
Well, okay. I got roped into directing the spring play. It's called Halfway There by Norm Foster. And so I have auditions next week, the 2nd, 5th, and 6th.
Okay.
All the information is on our website, kamloopsplayers.ca.
Perfect.
But my suggestion, as a Kamloops player for now a decade, I started backstage because I didn't know what to do and I really wanted to do something in the theater world. So I just said, hey, do you need a stagehand, or do you need somebody to do makeup backstage? I can do some things. And back then, 10 years ago, the players were very welcoming, and from there, I've been in multiple shows. And I'm saying that back then they were very welcoming.
You can come, but not you.
And I will say now we are very more welcoming than 10 years ago. But the best way to get involved is to maybe start backstage if being on stage is a little too scary. But we really encourage teaching new people, right? We welcome everyone from all experiences, all skill levels.
I love that.
That's kind of our purpose as a society, is to encourage you to just try it. If you don't like it, great. That's also good. If you love it, great. Keep coming.
Yeah. And I think that's a good message, because I do think that there are people out there who maybe want to get involved, but just feel like I wouldn't know where to begin. I've got no experience. I'm dumb, stuff like that. Sorry.
You're not dumb.
No, thank you, Kelsey. But it doesn't matter. If somebody wants to come out and participate, you guys will find a place for them. They'll be welcomed, unless you're probably a jerk, and then we don't want that.
Dumb jerk.
Dumb jerk. Dumb jerks can stay away.
We have had
You've had some dumb jerks?
We have had instances over the last, 24 years that I've been here.
Wow.
Yeah, we've asked a couple of people to leave.
But that's pretty good. 2 people in 24
That
years.
does seem pretty good. That does seem pretty good. Your chances of being welcomed are pretty high. You'd have to be a pretty dumb jerk.
Man, I wonder what they did.
We probably can't talk about it on stream.
No.
It could be defamatory.
Left, we better maybe.
Well, we could go long for gossip, but
Well, then on a positive note,
yeah.
and Todd,
Yeah, hi.
I have nothing to say. I'm sorry. But we want to end on a positive note.
We're not sure what the positive note is. But
Murder!
Come see the murder of people or not people. The murder of Alan Wong and, right? Is that right? Murder Arthur Wong. The murder. Hey, they're both A names. Okay, I did okay. The murder of Arthur Wong and Alan's 9 murders. What nights are they on?
We open this Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night. Saturday we have a matinee and an evening show. And Sunday we also have another last closing matinee. You can see 1 million people are calling us right now for their tickets, so you better get in line quickly.
So that's just this coming weekend.
1 week only.
1 weekend only. Wow.
1 week
Amazing.
only. So now's your chance.
If you don't get these tickets now, you will be sad and disappointed that you didn't get to check these murders out. Thanks, guys, for sitting down with us.
Thank you very much,
And putting
Todd,
up with us.
Kelsey. Thank you.